Bună ziua, sunt Bogdan Alecu și bine ați venit la o nouă emisiune SF Investiții în România, realizată de Ziar Financiar și CEC Bank. Astăzi discutăm despre agricultură. În prima parte a emisiunii l-avem invitat pe Roger Pyle, CEO al AgroConcept, compania care importă echipamentele New Holland și Knaverland pe piața locală. Iar în partea a doua a emisiunii intrăm în adâncime, să spun așa, și îl avem invitat din nou pe Vasile Benedek, directorul Liceului Agricol din Șimleul Silvaniei, și vedem acum care este strategia dânsului, strategia celor de acolo de a atrage elevi într-un liceu agricol. Revenim însă acum la partea de echipamente. Hello Roger, thank you for joining us today.
Bogdan, my pleasure, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to talk about agriculture in Romania.
And first of all, what are the big news for New Holland in 2024 in Romania? What kind of equipments are you introducing in the market? And what do you recommend to the farmers when they come and ask you, what tractor should I buy, or what combine should I buy?
Well, Bogdan, it's a great question. And the big news for 2024 was the introduction of the CR11, which is a new generation of larger combine. The combine probably is the premium combine in the world at the moment. It has almost zero losses, and it also is a complete new design and technology think on how combining should take place. There is direct drives to most of the components, so the efficiencies and the total cost of ownership comes down through efficiency of diesel usage, productivity on the fields, and also the zero loss concept from minimizing the amount of losses through the combine. So the CR11 is basically for the larger farmer. It's targeted to farmers above 2,000 hectares. And then the CR10, which was launched this year in the UK, will also be available at the end of this year, but mainly in 2025. So those are the big news from a combining perspective. From a tractor side, the Genesis T8 that has been rejuvenated, and it's a higher horsepower tractor. From 280 all the way to 435 horsepower, and we are very happy to have that back in the market. But then our stable that just really ticks over, the T5s, the smaller 120 horsepower, the T6s, and the T7 heavy duties. Those are all been upgraded with telematics that are now free for the farmer for this year, and will continue to be so. So we are offering a full range of tractors and combines, and we all also understand that the farming in Romania in 2024 has been extremely difficult. The last 2 years there's been drought, and then there's been a real pressure from yields and pricing. So we are trying to look at cost of ownership and looking at a package sort of strategy going forward.
Mm-hmm. And how are the farmers buying now equipment, considering all the drought we saw this year and in many years till now?
Yeah, look, I mean, the farmers have been under pressure, severe pressure, since 2023. 2020 was the last real bad drought year. The back end of 23 was also very, very bad. And that was coupled together with the high inputs and then a real reduction of grain prices that we saw during the start of the Ukrainian war. And that then fed through to a poor start in 23 when farmers tried to plant oilseed rape, and there was a lot of areas that had to be replanted to sunflowers and corn in 2024. And now we know what has happened in 24 in the last 4 weeks with the severe heat wave. and that has destroyed a lot of the corn crop and reduced the sunflower potential significantly. That has now moved into our market. We follow the farmers. The farmers, when they're under pressure, we are under pressure. And 2024 will probably be the lowest year ever when it comes to the demand for tractors and combines. And this is due to the fact that farm gate profitability has been severely impacted over the last 2 years.
And what are farmers looking for now? They're looking for price, better interest rates, or efficiency?
I think all three. We subsidize interest rates. We try and give the best price available. As I said beforehand, the pricing of the machinery is not due to us. It's impacted by manufacturing costs. And as global insecurities are really under pressure and there's blockades like we've seen in the Suez Canal, those increases in ocean freight and the movement of components, that feeds back to what we pay for machines from the manufacturer and eventually what the farmers pay. But yeah, it's all three. They're looking for the lowest price possible, interest rates that are low, and then also a package where there's service, minimization of downtime, intervention as quickly as possible, and obviously the spare parts being part of that package going forward.
Do you plan more investments in your network in Romania? And how fast can you answer a farmer that has a problem with his tractor or combine?
Well, we continue to invest in our infrastructure within Romania, and will continue to do so. It's extremely important to have visibility and quick access to our customers, and vice versa. We pride ourselves of trying to get an intervention done within 24 hours, but certainly we answer calls immediately to understand what the problems are. New Holland has a very, very good program that if the spare parts are not carried by us or not on us, on one of our sites, they will fly those parts in, and normally we have parts in within 48 hours, especially if they are not a part that we use very often. A case in point, we had a diesel tank on a combine that broke on a Saturday. Typical that these things happen on a Saturday, and this new diesel tank was in Romania on the Monday morning. And
we discussed about the business. Now, I wanted to ask you, what brought you to Romania and to AgroConcept here? What's your background?
Yeah, I'm a farmer. I farmed in South Africa, so I'm South African. I left South Africa in 2007, and then I farmed globally. I farmed in Europe, I farmed in Russia, Ukraine, and in most of Africa. I've developed huge irrigation projects in north of Africa, in Egypt. So I fully understand from a farmer's perspective the need for service, and the all tractors are very similar, but it's that service and the trust in getting an intervention done and getting some of the problems solved as quickly as possible is the most important thing when it comes to farms. So I'm a farmer. I have farming background. I joined AgroConcept at the back end of last year in October, coming from the group as such to help them expand their agricultural portfolio within the region, not only in Romania, but within the region. And I'll continue to be an agriculturalist and will continue to do so.
Mm-hmm. And how do you see the agricultural sector in Romania? Does it have potential? Because, for example, we are still discussing about irrigation, but the percentage of lands being irrigated, it's still pretty low. Do we still have potential here?
Yeah, of course. I think that there needs to be a real rethink of what we are doing as farmers, as agriculturalists. We do the same things over and over and again and expect a different result. I believe that we need to have an adaptability to look at different cultures, especially when it comes from corn. Are our corn varieties the correct varieties now, given the fact that now for 4 or 5 years, every summer is dry? Are we looking at the varieties that is correct for Romania? Because our varieties that we plant are American or European sort of genetics. Should we not look at Brazil, Argentinian and African genetics, which are much more prevalent to these type of heat events? We've got to look at how we treat our soil moisture. Too much cultivation, no minimum till practices or strip till practices. We lose a lot of moisture. We've got to look at technologies that help us reduce the impact of herbicides and pesticides, fungicides. That is all becoming more and more prevalent as artificial intelligence becomes available to the mechanization industry and to the farmers themselves. So I think that we've got to have the ability to be nimble and to be quick and to be able to adjust quickly. Irrigation, yes, is important, but it's not going to save the agricultural industry as a whole, because there's X amount of irrigation surface that can be irrigated. And the government really needs to change the way and speed up the way that the permissions are coming through for irrigation. Yes, there has to be environmental control, there has to be control, but that doesn't mean that there should be dragging of feet to get the irrigation infrastructure up and running. And there's also needs to be a relook and rethink on how new cultivars can be introduced to the Romanian industry.
Mm-hmm. And talking about equipment, can you or will you expand the portfolio of AgroConcept? For example, in agriculture, we're discussing about drones, for example. Is it possible to see drones in your portfolio in the near future?
Are we looking at every possibility and every angle? I think that we need to really concentrate on our real bread and butter units, which would be the no-till planters, minimum till equipment. Drones will certainly form part of the solution, but it's just one tool in the toolbox. And as drone technology becomes more efficient, we will certainly be looking at that. But we have to understand that drones are going to become more and more regulated. So with regulation comes also a slowdown of deployment. So I do see them very important when it comes to identification of real problematic areas or identification of pesticides, weeds, and certain areas within the field where you might have drainage problems or fertility problems. But to say that it's going to be the way when it comes to spraying and putting fertilizer down, I believe that the regulations and the control over the drones and the size of the drones will eventually limit the impact on agriculture.
And is this so, or will this be the new trend, no-till, to keep the moisture in the soil?
No-till is eventually going to be part of a whole package of interventions that farmers would look at. But I believe minimum till would be the way that farmers are going. No-till certainly on parts of the farm, but it's not a solution for a whole farm solution. One one mustn't get into the mantra of, yes, no-till is going to just solve all my problems, because you are going to need to till at a certain time. I've done a lot of no-till, I mean, hundreds of thousands of hectares of no-till. And at some stage, I've had to come back with a plow to sort out some problems, rather using that mechanization tool in the toolbox again, rather than a chemistry or chemical, to try and push a reset button. One's got to be pragmatic and really honest when you're farming, and look at the best solution for the farm and for that field. And one mustn't try and just say, listen, yes, I'm going to do no-till, 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 and you end up losing money. If you have to push the reset button, and that means doing a plowing event once every 5 years or once every 10 years, whatever it is, one has to use that. And one's got to be very open to use all of the technologies that are available, even if it means going back to an old technology.
And online, we keep seeing electric tractors powered by natural gas or autonomous. Is it possible to see also in Romania?
Yeah, autonomy certainly is a huge part of where we're going to go. I believe that there are a number of issues that one needs to sort out first. With autonomy becomes your logistic planning, and the logistics around autonomy is going to be incredibly important. So who's loading seeders, who's loading the spray, how those are loaded, that is all part of the autonomy solution, and those need to be automated before the autonomy really starts taking off. But certainly that is going to be the future, as the availability of personnel on farms becomes more and more restrictive. Electric tractors, I see a place for them, but that's probably going to be more within the urban environment and places like airports. I don't see a huge impact on electric tractors within open fields, just due to the fact that the charging and the time that is needed to charge, farmers have an incredible tight window periods when it comes to certain operations anyway. And then hydrogen, certainly the new type of propulsion and the new type of energy. There's hydrogen, there's also urea, so ammonium engines that have been tested, and those are also going to have some impact going forward.
And what about training? Because the personnel, the driver of the tractor needs to be taught all these new technologies, including using the new high-tech tractor. Do you have special programs to teach?
Absolutely. We are actually looking at introduction of an academy going forward, but we're very much aware that these technologies, they cost money. Let's not be prudent about it. They cost money, and to get the best out of these technology, one really has to have the training at the next level. Because if you're going to be spending 500,000 plus on a combine, to get that efficiency, that time, and to get the one's investment back, then certainly the training and having your personnel trained is extremely important, and we offer that service.
How long does it take to learn to drive a modern tractor?
Driving is easy. Getting the efficiency is more time consuming. So understanding the technologies, the headland technologies, understanding that a lot of these tractors now are one button sort of tractors. You can program like a computer to automate at the headlands to be efficient. It can lift, switch hydraulics on and off. the efficiencies that come from that is diesel, etc., etc. So those type of technologies and training and getting people to want to use them is more time consuming. But just to drive a tractor, the modern tractor is fairly simple. One can teach somebody to drive within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. And do you or will you have special courses for people that will drive autonomous tractors? How far in the future is this?
I believe that will be needed, but I think that's probably around 18 months, 2 years down the line. The more important part of this is that the getting the most out of the systems that are autonomous within the tractors and within the combines now is more important to train, because there is autonomy. There's autonomy in these vehicles right now, but they're just not being used to their full potential.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Okay, Roger, thank you very much for the interview, and looking forward to seeing new tractors.
Bogdan, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I wish the farming community all the best for the rest of the year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mulțumesc și eu telespectatorilor. Vom asculta pauză și revenim imediat.